The storm came out of nowhere. Rain hammered the lonely highway, and long-haul trucker Ryan Cooper tightened his grip on the wheel. He was exhausted, hungry, and just minutes away from pulling over to rest when... Knock, knock, knock. He froze. Someone was knocking on his truck door, in the middle of nowhere, at midnight. Ryan slid the window down just a little, and saw her. A trembling young woman, soaked to the bone, clutching a crying baby close to her chest. "Please, please help us," she whispered. "My car broke down. My baby's freezing." Ryan wasn't the kind of man who trusted strangers easily. Life had taught him to stay cautious. But the sight of that shivering infant pierced straight through his guard. He opened the door without another thought. Inside the truck's warmth, the woman kept thanking him, her hands shaking as she wrapped the baby in Ryan's spare blanket. She said her name was Emily, but something about her felt heavy. Like she was hiding the weight of 1,000 unsaid truths. Ryan tried asking what happened, but her answers were brief, careful, almost rehearsed. He didn't push. He just drove, away from the storm, toward the nearest town. But as the hours passed and the baby finally fell asleep, Ryan noticed something strange. Emily kept checking the side mirrors, like someone was following them. And Ryan was about to learn the truth. She wasn't just stranded. She was running. Emily's breathing grew unsteady as they drove, her eyes darting restlessly to the mirrors. The storm had cleared, but she behaved as if danger still clung to the air around them. Ryan cleared his throat. "You sure you're not in trouble?" Silence. Finally, with a trembling exhale, she said, "I didn't want to drag a stranger into my mess, but you saved my baby. You deserve to know." Ryan braced himself. "My husband," she whispered, "is not who the world thinks he is." Ryan frowned. "Husband?" She nodded. "He's wealthy. Influential. Everyone sees him as a philanthropist, but behind closed doors, he's violent. Controlling. Tonight," he snapped. "I grabbed my baby and ran." Ryan felt a cold pit form in his stomach. This wasn't what he expected. "Emily, does he know you escaped?" Her voice cracked. "Yes. And he's looking for us. He never lets anything, or anyone, go." Ryan wasn't easily intimidated. Years on the road had taught him how to handle trouble. But this was different. A powerful man with resources could track a woman down in minutes. Suddenly, bright headlights flared in Ryan's side mirror. Too close. Too fast. Emily gasped and clutched her baby tighter. "That's his car! Ryan, please, don't stop!" Ryan's instincts kicked in. He pressed the accelerator, the truck rumbling with power as they surged forward. "Hang on," he growled. "Nobody's taking that baby tonight." The SUV behind them swerved aggressively, trying to force them to slow down. Emily held back tears. "You should have left us back there. I'm putting you in danger." Ryan shook his head firmly. "You knocked on the right door." But deep down, he knew. This night was only beginning. The SUV tailing them grew bolder, weaving across the road like a predator closing in on its prey. Ryan kept the truck steady, jaw tight, mind racing. "Emily," he said, "does he carry weapons?" She nodded, terrified. "He keeps a gun in the glove compartment. He thinks he owns the world." Ryan cursed under his breath. The SUV tried to overtake them, but Ryan swerved just enough to block it. He had hauled freight through blizzards and mountain passes. This road bully didn't scare him. But Emily's fear did. Her baby began crying again, sensing the tension. Emily rocked him, whispering shakily, "Sure, sweetheart. Mommy's here." Ryan suddenly hit the brakes, hard. The SUV shot forward, overshooting them. Ryan slammed the accelerator again, gaining distance before the driver realized what happened. Emily stared at him in disbelief. "How did you?" "Sweetheart, this ain't my first highway showdown." But Ryan knew this reprieve wouldn't last. The SUV was already turning around, tires screeching. "We need a safe place," Emily said, voice trembling. Ryan scanned the dark road. Then he spotted it, a rundown rest stop ahead. Not ideal, but it had a back exit most people didn't know about. Perfect for disappearing. He pulled in and cut the lights. The SUV sped past, not seeing them. Emily exhaled in shaky relief, tears streaking her cheeks. Thank you? I don't know why you're risking so much for us. Ryan looked at her softly. Because I know what it feels like to have nobody show up. Her eyes widened slightly, as if recognizing pain she hadn't expected in a stranger. But before either could speak again, Emily's phone buzzed. A message from a blocked number. You can't hide from me. Emily's hands trembled so hard she nearly dropped the phone. Ryan gently took it and read the message, his expression darkening. He's close, Emily whispered. He always finds me. Ryan felt a surge of anger, not at her, but at any man who used fear as power. Listen, he said firmly. You're not going back. Not tonight. Not ever. Emily stared at him, startled by the conviction in his voice. Ryan guided her through the back exit of the rest stop, keeping the baby cradled close to Emily's chest. They returned to the highway through a back road only truckers knew. He doesn't know this route, Ryan assured her. But Emily still shook. You don't understand. He has money. Contacts. He'll report the baby as kidnapped. The police will help him. Ryan swallowed hard. That was a real problem. Emily, he said gently, why didn't you go to the police earlier? Tears filled her eyes. Because he is the police. He chairs the law enforcement charity board. Everyone respects him. They think he's a hero. Ryan exhaled. This was worse than he imagined. But then, a thought. A risk. A possible solution. I know someone, he said slowly. An old friend from the Marines. Works for child protection in the next state. Good man. Untouchable. Emily blinked, hope flickering for the first time. You'd take us there? Ryan nodded. You bet I will. But their moment of relief shattered as flashing blue and red lights suddenly lit up behind them. A police cruiser. Emily's face drained of color. No, she whispered. He already started the lie. He told them I kidnapped my own baby. The cruiser's siren wailed. And Ryan realized he'd have to fight the law to save them. Ryan pulled to the side slowly, his pulse pounding. The officer walked toward the truck, stern-faced, hand on his holster. Evening, he said. We received a report of a woman traveling with a child who may be in danger. Ma'am, I need you to step out. Emily clung to her baby. Please, officer, he's lying. My husband. Ma'am, the officer interrupted sharply. Step out of the vehicle. Ryan raised his hands. Officer, she's safe with me. She's running from. The officer pointed a warning finger. Sir, don't interfere. Something snapped inside Ryan. He'd seen this before, good people being dismissed because powerful men pulled strings. So he made a decision. A crazy, reckless, dangerous decision. Officer, Ryan said slowly. Before you take her, can I ask you one thing? Did her husband mention the bruises on her ribs? The cut on her arm? The baby's fever? Did he mention any of that when he called you? The officer hesitated. A crack in the armor. Emily swallowed. Please, look at my baby. Do I look like a kidnapper, or a mother trying to survive? The officer looked at the baby, small, flushed, sweating lightly. His posture softened. Ryan leaned forward. Call for a welfare check. On the baby, not on us. That's protocol. You know it. The officer exhaled, stepped back, and spoke into his radio. Emily's eyes filled with tears of fragile hope. 10 tense minutes later, a female paramedic arrived. She examined the baby, then stared sharply at the officer. This child is sick. Dehydrated. And the mother is injured. They're not the kidnappers. The officer turned pale. Sir, ma'am, you're free to go. Emily broke down, sobbing relief into her baby's hair. But Ryan knew the real battle still lay ahead. With the police cleared and the paramedics' report filed, Ryan drove nonstop toward the next state. Emily's fears slowly softened into something else: trust, maybe even hope. By sunrise, they reached a small brick building with a faded sign: Child and Family Protection Services. Ryan helped Emily out, carrying the diaper bag and opening the door for her. Inside, a tall man with calm eyes recognized Ryan instantly. "Cooper? What trouble did you drag in this time?" Ryan managed a tired grin. "The kind that needs saving." Emily explained everything, finally, fully, her voice trembling as she detailed years of abuse hidden behind wealth and reputation. The officer listened, taking notes, never interrupting. When she finished, he leaned back. "Emily, you and your baby are safe now. We'll file for emergency protective custody. You'll get shelter, legal protection, and a restraining order within the hour." Emily covered her mouth, sobbing. I never thought I'd hear those words." Ryan stood quietly near the door, giving her space. But when she turned toward him, her eyes glistened with something deeper. "You didn't even know me," she whispered. "Yet you saved our lives." Ryan shook his head. "No. You saved your baby. I just gave you a ride." The officer chuckled. "A ride? Son, you outran an abuser, outsmarted local police, and drove all night to protect a woman and a child. That's more than a ride." Emily stepped closer. "We'll never forget you." For the first time in a long time, Ryan felt something warm bloom in his chest: purpose. As he walked back toward his truck, the morning sun rising behind him, he realized something simple and profound. Sometimes the greatest journeys are the ones where you save someone else. And somewhere behind him, a mother and her child began their new life. Because one stranger opened his door.